Thank God it's Friday. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, world. You're welcome on Morning Spring today on Western Spring Television. The weekending edition is the weekending edition, the Friday edition of this program. And we are very excited. I am very excited to be rounding off, especially on a high on this day of our Lord. And by the way, it's the first of a new month. Happy New Month, world. Happy New Month, distinguished viewers of Morning Spring. Thank you for the past 7 months. We offer for this new month of August that we bring us great tidings, and we will, do whatever we have to do, and we will all be happy. That's the essence. Happiness is very key. Femi Ojo is my name. Welcoming you into the new month of hope, of prosperity. And let me personalize it, the best month ever, the month of August. By the way, Daniel is there. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Femi. Happy New Month.
Happy New Month to you. And I wish you the best.
Same here.
Of course.
Yeah, it's the month of August.
Prosperous month. Yeah, the 8th month. By the way, are you born in August?
No.
Okay. May. Okay. May.
Yeah, born in May.
Wow. How come we didn't know when it was May? What did you do, Dan, that we didn't know your birthday in May?
Well, it's on you.
It's on us.
It's on you.
That we didn't know your birthday.
Exactly.
The whole of the thing.
Yeah.
We have a talk after this program.
It's on you.
But by the way,
it's not hidden. It's on social media.
Okay. All right. I agree. But then this is August.
Absolutely.
This is my month.
Absolutely.
And I'm particularly excited.
Oh, congratulations.
So, thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely. Good morning, viewers all over the world. Thank you once again for joining us on Morning Spring. This is Western Spring Television. Emeka Daniel is my name. And once again, happy new month to you. It promises to be a great month. We are inching towards the end of the year. Once we get to August, some people say September, but for me, once it's August, it's already, before you know it, it's September, October, and November then. We are almost there. So how time flies. It was just as if it was yesterday when 2025 started. I still remember January 1st, 2025. I was on the show, I was on radio. So it was just as if, just like yesterday, it was a Wednesday, I remember. And now we're in August already. So whatever it is you still want to do this year, you still have ample time to do it. Don't say the year is over. Just go out there and get it done. Just do what you have to do. Thank you once again for joining us on Morning Spring. And always rest assured that we have the best package for you today. Plus, a very interesting interview we'll be having today. You seriously do not want to miss that. So just stay tuned, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Once again, thank God it's Friday.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And particularly this morning, the course of discussion will be a very special one, the one that everybody, I'm sure, you want us to talk about, because it has been an issue, disturbing one, not just as a one-off, over the years for some time. And this morning we'll be looking into governance, politics, and the state of the nation with an erudite scholar, on the program. Dr. Sam Amadi will be joining us on this program. We'll look at all these issues because, especially as 2027 draws near, governance, it seems it has been relegated for politics, and so the state of the nation is just neither here nor there.
Absolutely. When we focus so much on politics and we forget about governance, and not just politics, sometimes you see irresponsible spending on the part of our leaders, recklessness,
recklessness,
fiscal irresponsibility. These are public funds. It's not as if they are your, it's not your personal funds. Public funds being spent anyhow. In a country where majority are suffering, are in poverty. Yes, I say majority because when you have, are suffering from poverty and extreme poverty, majority living below international poverty line. Yet we have leaders who spend recklessly, fiscal irresponsibility. And we'll be looking into that in the course of the program. And I'm interested in listening in politics, to talk about politics. Dino Melaye, the dramatic Dino Melaye, finally resigned from the PDP. Of course, a lot of people saw it coming. So it wasn't really, it didn't come as a surprise to many Nigerians, because a lot of people have been resigning from the PDP, citing the fact that, according to Dino Melaye, he says PDP is no longer potent. I mean, they lack the potency to compete in 2027. So he has decided to leave the PDP. And who knows which party he'll be joining. He hasn't really announced that. So let's just wait and see.
We'll wait and see. So many things to talk about. We'll take a quick break right now. We'll be back. Stay with us. You know, talking about reckless spending, many, persons of thoughts, associations, coming out. The latest is the African report, actually, and the United States mission in Nigeria, U.S. mission in Nigeria, did something like that again. But then, personally, I don't like to make it look like whenever these countries or their missions or embassy or anything beyond Nigeria speaks on the issue, then that means like an endorsement. No, we know what our issues are here.
Absolutely.
There's nothing new that they want to say. Because the U.S. mission is saying in Nigeria doesn't mean, oh, you see, we know these things are. And the examples of Gombe State, the example, virtually, a very poor state by other means and standard and intent, spending on state houses, that some of them really stay. Most of the time you're in Abuja. Osun had his own renovation. The State House, when Governor Adeleke came in, Governor Seyi Makinde is planning to splash 63 or 64 billion on house, government house, and all of these things. They are spending the money that they don't even make.
Yeah, the point is that, like you rightly said, it's not because the US said it. Recall that right here on this platform, I was screaming it that day. When Governor Seyi Makinde of your state, approved 63.4 billion naira for the renovation of State House. And I was saying, how can you do that? I called him out right here on this show. I called out Seyi Makinde. Said, how can you do such a thing? 63.4 billion naira for renovation of government house for a state whose internally generated revenue is just 65 billion naira. And you are spending 63.4 billion naira for renovation. How visionless can a leader get? I said it right here on the show. The US is just releasing that report now. I remember that day. It was so outrageous to me. I was screaming it here that how can you do such a thing? That is fiscal irresponsibility at the highest level. At the highest level. The case of Oyo State, in a state where when you visit Oyo State, you can see, you can almost touch, it's so poverty is so palpable, you can almost cut through it with a knife. The poverty is real. And you are spending so much for renovation of the government house. That's a crop of leaders we have in Nigeria. And it is quite worrisome.
And it's across the parties. It's not just a one party. It's just a political class problem, ruling class problem, that they just feel whatever they need to do, they don't take the feelings of the people into. And now the worst part, which is an institutional problem, is the different state houses of assembly that will just will be there and ratify anything, in as much as the governor that brings it, in as much as an executive bill, and you won't see any serious objection to say, Your Excellency, we might not have this. But then the moment, the moment a state house of assembly gets in, but before the election, you make sure your party dominates that state house of assembly. And then when they get in, the next thing is to buy cars for everybody. That's the first thing. You buy cars for everybody, upgrade them, give them money, everybody's comfortable. So whatever the business of the plenary is, in as much as an executive thing, take a bow.
Because they've become yes men already.
Well, in fact, some will say they are rubber stamps. Many of them. In fact, the only way you will see an effective House of Assembly, and I'm not sure we have had that for some time, is the one that the ruling party at the executive level doesn't have the population, the overwhelming population in that house. And so you get to see opposition. The opposition is not even because they mean well for the people. Sometimes they just want their voices to be heard. So that they are relevant in that house. And when last did you see a state house of assembly on the premises of principle stand high to raise their hands and say, Mr. Governor, we cannot do this. We cannot ratify. I can't remember any. especially the last 5 years or thereabout. In the last 10, let's say 5 years. Let's say 5 years. Except, the government is doing this, we need a point to prove that what happens at the Riverside House of Assembly. You know that one is not about the people. It's not based on principle. Absolutely. It's just a crop of people who are loyal, who want to teach the governor there a lesson. And at the end of the day, all of them have been suspended. Nobody is just anywhere.
Yeah,
as River State is concerned.
Yeah.
So it seems Nigerians are stuck, not just at the national level, even at different states, of the Federation.
Yeah, and again, talking about what they get, talking about the House of Assembly members, even at the national level, at the National Assembly, when they got in, each of them got about 160 million naira to buy SUV. So when they get such monies, after a while, they start telling you, someone like Godswill Akpabio will come out to tell you that, well, it is not their job to fight, that their function is not to fight the executive.
They don't have to be enemies. Just let them just do whatever they think they can do for the interest of Nigerians, and Nigerians will be waiting to say. And by the way, one of those things, that many persons feel wasn't necessary at that time, maybe it's to curry their favor, is to, when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came, he gave them national awards, less than 1 year. Actually, GCON and I think CFR or so for the speaker, and for the Chief Justice of the Federation as well. GCON, and then, CFR and a lot of those things. One will wonder, we are not celebrating anything. There is nothing iconic that we are doing. He just took national honors, gave the Senate President, gave the Speaker House of Reps, gave the Chief Justice of the Federation. And many persons will think, excuse me, what are you doing?
I mean, that is what we call paving the way.
Well, it will sound like it, even when you don't want to believe those things. Sometimes with the projections and the trajectory of how this nation has been rolling.
Absolutely.
You will know, as they say around here.
Yeah, there's a program for it, exactly in Yoruba,
some waters, right?
To wet the ground.
You walk on wet ground, But then, so many things. Let's look at the papers right now. We'll look into that in the course of the program. Again, the topic of discussion this morning, you might be seeing it everywhere, even now, is governance, politics, and the state of the nation. All right, but before that, we have papers lined up here, and we look through the different front pages of different papers. The Guardian is our first point of call. Guardian for today. 2026 World Cup. It's a big story. It's a big story, rather. Pages 4 and 5. 2026 World Cup. Uncertainty for FIFA. Soccer fans over Trump's America First policies. 2026 World Cup. Uncertainty for FIFA. Soccer fans over Trump's America First policies. And you see the picture there of the man holding the red card, the ball in his hands, whistle on his neck, and you see many players donning different jerseys, just looking at him, to see what he will do. Many persons are really concerned about the 2026 World Cup, especially with the visa application be smooth, all of those things. So with every country, not being hindered, especially countries that have qualified or that will qualify for that World Cup, and all of those things. They don't know what will happen.
Absolutely. Many
journalists, I've spoken to many of our colleagues that are sport journalists, in which they said, you're not just sure, because all you need is for a country at least to be represented there. Not even just a country, as a sport journalist, as somebody, sport enthusiast.
Should be able to visit.
That's one of the joy of World Cup. Many persons save towards World Cup. I have a colleague of mine, who is a sport journalist, who, since the last time he came back from the last World Cup, he has been saving towards the next one. And, but with what Trump is doing in America, you are not just sure.
Yeah, you can see
the next
Trump
policy
right
that we rolled out. Yeah.
As a referee.
Holding the card, and many of the players are just watching to see what will these be. I could see the anxiety on their faces, looking through the various faces of these players. But then the World Cup, the Mundial, is always once in a lifetime experience. Absolutely. In which, if you are lucky to go to 2 to 3 to 4, then you are very blessed. You meet people all around the world. The feeling is always super. Even watching through your TV, not to even talk about being present at the stadium. And it's always a good feeling if your country is represented at the World Cup. Whenever the flags of those countries are being hoisted, you feel this joy. We hope the Super Eagles will just get through, but Super Eagles are in a very difficult position right now. Away from that, Tinubu rallies governance to drive reform gains despite hardship, discontent in state. Tinubu rallies governance to drive reform gains despite hardship, discontent in state. All right, many persons will say states have money, but it's not, translating into more prosperity. And in many states, it sounds the same. What we see is more jeeps, more state houses being built or renovated, and all of those things. Now, away from that, 2027, PDP rejects Tinubu's endorsement, berates Atiku, others over ADC coalition. PDP rejects Tinubu's endorsement, berates Atiku, others over ADC coalition. Atiku just left a few weeks ago, and he's already been, slammed by the same PDP. But then many persons will have their reasons to say maybe Atiku has become an albatross, PDP's Achilles heel, before he actually left that party. All right, appeal court upholds Ayedatiwa's election as Ondo governor. All right, and tension has bandit dismember 2 teenagers. That's gross. That's wickedness. That's evil.
Bizarre.
Tension has bandits dismember 2 teenagers in Kogi, and these bandits now, maybe on Monday, we raise their 2 hands and say they have surrender to the government, and the government will say,
and they need government support.
Or that's all. And then, in as much you don't want to fight us again, that's all. Let's de-radicalize you, and you're integrated back into society. Somebody that has done this, and you expect such a community to be in peace. These are some of the things
that is why a lot of people,
counterproductive.
That's why people are calling on communities to, protect themselves.
Yeah.
When you catch people who have done this,
well, that will amount officially by laws to jungle justice.
Not jungle justice now. Protect yourself. That is in the act. If they are caught in the act, you have to protect yourself.
I know.
You see someone trying to, bring down your community.
Kill you. Of course, that's a protection. That means don't harm me. I have the right to defend myself by whatever means necessary.
Kill or be killed.
That's it. But then there is the other side of that. When everybody has, have access to harm, and there is a problem as well, because people can always move mad. Even when you are not being attacked, some people can just feel aggrieved.
That's what happens. That's what happens.
This kind of situation makes everything confusing.
Yeah.
Actually, have you seen how people behave? Have you seen people drive in Nigeria? And they just behave anyhow.
The road rage.
The road rage and all of those things. And they'll still be abusing
Lagos,
you.
Yes.
Verbally abusing you. Imagine those people having access to arm and they are happy to. All some people will do is just to bring it out, open their door, and shoot.
Yeah, it happens.
People go about with, what is it called? In Nigeria, it's called koboko. Whip.
Yeah, whip. Horse whip.
Yes, horse whip. You see it on their dashboard because they feel if you move mad, I will whip you. Now, those people having access to arm because they believe I should arm myself. And even on the ATM queue, have you seen the kind of anger when people line up at the ATM point?
Absolutely.
If you want to see some kind of grammar that you have never had before, go to ATM queue. And these are some of the issues. But then it exposes the systemic failure that when people have to move around, not that they can't defend themselves, but if I know you have a pistol, I have one, he has one, everybody has one, and the economy is like this. All the people needs to do is just from evil thoughts to go through them before people can say, there is money in the house. We have pistol right now. He only has one. We have 4. Do the math yourself.
Anyway, there's a downside to everything.
Yes, there is.
In places like the US and Western countries where a lot of them have arms, of course, you see some people, once they have a little mental disorder, you see them
shoot everywhere.
Exactly.
School shoot.
Going to schools, exactly.
All of those things.
Some people go to their workplaces, when they get laid off or fired, or they are disgruntled.
Or even marital issues.
Yeah, they start shooting their colleagues.
Divorce that goes wrong and everybody dies. These are the issues. Away from that, more defections, a leadership crisis, unsettled PDP ADC ahead of 2027 polls, and concerns as bank charges customers for accumulated USS debts. This is one too many. Nigerians are just saying, what else do you want us to do? Accumulated USSD debts. Now, 74% of children in detention homes awaiting trial. 74% of children in detention homes awaiting trial, report declares. And a call of strike for negotiation. Presidency, reps tell health workers. These are the stories that make you want to think if our leaders, if they think at all, and I'm not holding back. Now, these things, you will see it coming. You won't do anything. And the strike action goes on, and then some of you will even be grandstanding. Some of them will be making the other have no work, no pay. And all of those things, there are some sectors that cannot just be hounded. And an example is the health sector. Because many persons are just holding on to say, okay, maybe I can stay here. And for a professional nurse that has experience of like 10 years, you can't hound such a person. All the person needs to do is to get a loan, and it goes to the other side. In 1 year, he pays back the loan, is fine. The system here, who gets shot here? These are the issues, but we don't think that way here, especially by our leaders. Dangote Cement advocates budget-friendly mass housing for Nigerians. And I'm sure Nigerians will tell him, let's have budget-friendly cement as well. Furore over Rivers LG polls as group threatens legal action. That will be all from The Guardian.
And from The Guardian, we move to the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. On the Daily Trust newspaper, 34 million Nigerians at risk of hunger as UN food aid ends. 34 million Nigerians at risk of hunger as UN food aid ends. Talking about hunger in Nigeria, 34 million at risk. Quite unfortunate when this is not a war zone. This is not Gaza, for God's sake. Just imagine 34 million. That's more than the population of a lot of countries at risk of hunger in Nigeria alone. You might want to read up that story on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Away from that, Canada to join UK, France to recognize Palestinian state in September. Canada to join UK, France to recognize Palestinian state in September. I was just talking about Gaza. Canada, UK, they've decided to recognize the Palestinian state in September. Well, let's see how that goes. Away from that, still on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Niger takes FG to court over 13% derivation. Niger takes FG to court over 13% derivation. You find that story. I guess that should be page 8 of Daily Trust. We were talking about the other day, was it 2 days ago? We were talking about restructuring in Nigeria. And again, we can't stop calling for restructuring because we really need to restructure the nation. Here is Niger State clamoring for, more than 13% derivation. If regions are made, if Nigeria is restructured into regions, and regions are made to be productive, then you go ahead and spend what you want to spend. Not that you sit there in your state, all you do at the end of every month, you go to Abuja cap in hand just to get funds, to beg for allocation. And now you see have some people saying, no, what you're getting is too small. If someone in Katsina, if someone in Kano, if someone in Maiduguri, Borno State is getting wealth, okay, from Delta State, from Port Harcourt, from the oil money, but what you produce, your IGR remains in your own state. Right. You don't get to send parts of your own, funds to the other state. It doesn't make any sense. And now they'll still complain that, oh, they're not getting enough derivation. And the only thing that can solve all this is restructuring. Nigeria needs to be restructured. And I hope our National Assembly, and of course the executive arm of government, will do the right thing by restructuring Nigeria. That's the only way to guarantee growth, real growth in the system. When you restructure, then regions can go ahead and, create as many states as possible, because they will be the ones funding the states. They will be the ones. So if you like, create multiple states, create multiple houses of assemblies, multiple reps and senators. As long as you can pay them, you can fund that, then you go ahead and do that. And that's sincerely the best solution for all this. Away from that, still on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper. Strike. Government nurses meet today. Strike. Government nurses meet today. Of course, you recall that the nurses embarked on a strike in protest of their, poor working conditions, just like the doctors did. And we do hope they finalize their talks with the government and go back to work, because the patients are the ones suffering. Moving to the bottom strip now. End bad governance protests. 1 year after, nothing has changed. That's coming from conveners. And bad governance protest. 1 year after, nothing has changed. That's coming from conveners. We'll keep talking about bad governance and the need to end bad governance in Nigeria. We won't get tired of talking about it till we get the desired change. And that'll be all from the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper this.
All right. Away from the Daily Trust newspaper, our next point of call will be the Nigerian Tribune. Tribune for this morning. FEC approves 145 billion naira electrification project for Unilag, UI, UNN, others. FEC, Federal Executive Council, approves a 145 billion naira electrification project for Unilag, UI, UNN, others. With rider, okays a 68.7 billion naira second phase of solar power for rural agri centers. Approves 3.7 billion naira for upgrade of oncology center in UCH. We hope these interventions, approvals will be brought to life quickly, especially as it has to do with the universities and, of course, the upgrade of the oncology center at the University College Hospital, UCH in Ibadan. And away from that, Foreign Affairs Minister in Ghana, amid deportation threat on Nigerians, the Nigerian must go problem in Ghana, which has reared its ugly head again with allegations of ritual killings, prostitutions, drug trafficking, fraud, and all of those things being made by Ghanaian people against Nigerians. Now, Tinubu extends Adeniyi's tenure as customs CG. Tinubu extends Adeniyi's tenure as customs CG. That's the Controller General of customs, and the issue of the extension of the IGP is still there, which many persons believe it's unfair and maybe even unconstitutional. Now, the tenure of the CG Adeni has been extended as well. It's expected that there will be some controversies, because it means some persons behind the CG are being denied.
Yes.
And unfortunately, some of them are even retired before it gets to their turn. So it's unfair on them, but maybe the president has his reasons for extending the tenure.
Yeah, for Customs CG, so far, he has done really well, pretty well for Customs. I mean, increased revenue generation. Yes, he has done so well. So maybe that's why Mr. President decided to. Yeah.
But what does that do to those aspiring to get to the peak of their career? Imagine if, for example, now, as you will say, hypothetically, that the customs CG is supposed to retire this year and the tenure has been extended, and the closest person to him in rank is supposed to retire next year.
Yeah.
So he has an opportunity of being CG in his life for 1 year. Now
he has missed it.
He has missed it. And you might have like 2 or 3 persons of that rank.
Deputy CGs.
That means they never get to the topmost part of their career, which is unfair. They always say life is unfair, but then maybe Mr. President has his reasons, and we just hope that he won't bring discontent in their rank. All right. An Ilorin cleric who killed a female student to die by hanging was sentenced yesterday. All right. He still gives the call to everyone to please be careful. Let's be human, but then everyone, ladies, guys, be careful, especially when it has to do with love, romance, relationship, and all of those things. Don't just throw fortune into the wind, and don't be the kind of people that you just move without nobody knowing where you are. These days people are doing that, especially with those Uber issues that you're seeing some drivers trying to move mad or whatever. The moment you enter that car, make a call. Let the driver know you are making a call. Let the person on the other hand know the plate number. The moment a driver is not comfortable with you describing the car, maybe you should get down.
Absolutely. And again, on the part of
so that they know you are not alone.
Yeah. And on part of ladies who take risk, they take risk a lot. I mean, those into the HK business, they call it HK, hookup business. I mean, you don't know this guy from anywhere. He puts a call across because he's paying you 50, 100K. And before you know it, you're going to an unknown destination. It's quite risky. And they till tomorrow, no matter how much we scream it here, they still do it, and they will still do it.
It will always be. Stealing is bad, but thieves have not ceased from the land. Fraud is bad. People are still doing it. You know, smoking kills. You know, secret companies are still cropping up everywhere. So what we can do is just to do the needful, just as we are screaming here. Now, either for the girls or for the ladies, make sure you are security conscious. Absolutely. And if you are somewhere, let the people that are there know that you are not hiding. You are not here because you just want to be there. People are aware of my movement here. So let everybody have sense. I should be aware that, you know, you are safe. You should be aware that I should be safe, especially. Maybe that will help the issue. Now, on the health, you know, part here, corner, HPV, new cases of skin cancer in people with weakened immunity. Expert, HPV, new cases of skin cancer in people with weakened immunity, and Yitwada's experience as a REC added advantage for APC. Along Yitwada's experience as REC added advantage for APC. These are the issues. Former REC is, you know,
party chairman
right now. So are you sure he won't still have allies, you know, in those places that he has been REC before, which might pose an undue advantage and all of those things? But then who says retired career officers cannot pursue politics? But then let's make it count, you know, because this Lalong saying his experience as a REC is an advantage for them. And that is a statement that many persons
absolutely
can take in different directions.
And considering the fact that he has already said 2027 is a done deal for APC.
And that party is in power. All right. Now, we want better salaries, not loans. ASU tells federal government. Better salaries, not loans.
That's common sense anyway.
Right.
Why should you give me loans?
ASU. So how do I pay?
That's the point.
These are the issues. And bottom strip, appeal court affirms Ayedatiwa's election as governor. And on the sporting scene, vintage sports, Osimhen, now 10th world's most expensive player. He has cemented his move finally, you know, to Galatasaray. No more on loan. He has made a permanent move to Galatasaray. And, you know, we wish him all the best. Many persons were thinking was going to go to Saudi Arabia to earn some money. But then it's also good for him.
Even the Galatasaray, some are saying that, no, he shouldn't have really gone there. There are better leagues. I mean, but again, he has to make his choice. Well, if he's happy, then he should go for it.
Worry. Now, 10-time WAFCON champions, talking about the Falcons there. And, you know, for those girls, the parties upon parties, hosting upon hostings, I'm sure in the next 1 week, they will still be, they won't even have private time to themselves, actually, you know, because state governments are calling good representatives. I'm telling you.
And it comes with envelope, exactly.
You get it. Now, 44th Olubadan, Ladoja expected in Ibadan weekend. Olubadan Council meets Monday. Is about the beginning of another era in the history of Ibadan land. The Nigeria influential nation of unlimited possibilities, U.S. government. Nigeria influential nation of unlimited possibilities, U.S. government. And PDP faults arbitrary street renaming in Lagos, threatens legal action. Arbitrary in inverted commas now. PDP faults arbitrary street renaming in Lagos, threatens legal action, and that has generated so many controversies, especially the Charlie Boy thing.
Absolutely.
Bus stop being renamed Olamide Bado, you know, and many of those things in which many persons are reading political meanings to it or tribal meanings. But then the PDP is saying they are going to take legal action. That will be all from the Nigerian Tribune for this morning.
And from the Nigerian Tribune, we move to the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. On the Punch newspaper, marketers warn against disruption as Dangote plans direct fuel supply. Marketers warn against disruption as Dangote plans direct fuel supply. With a rider, Nogasa, Petron, tackle Dangote. Petrol surges to 870 naira per litre at private depot. Amid feud. Still talking about Dangote and his plan to start supplying fuel directly to consumers and marketers and distributors. You'll find a story on page 19. Recall that Dangote actually purchased about 4,000 CNG trucks for this project. So it's quite a huge one. And he's also handing down incentives. Talk about free delivery. So who wouldn't like that? But again, the marketers will kick against it because Dangote is basically trying to cut out a lot of middlemen in the game. So some are accusing him of monopoly. Well, and he's arguing that he's actually bringing down the cost to end users. And as far as end users are concerned, whatever will bring down the cost is best for them. Yeah. But where does that leave the middlemen? So the middlemen have to fight back. And that's exactly what is happening. Away from that, still on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. 2027. Defection stir tension as APC, ADC lock horns. 2027. Defections stir tension as APC, ADC lock horns. You find a story on page 2. Government's FX windfall crashes 73% to 589 billion naira in first half. Government's FX windfall crashes 73% to 589 billion naira in first half. You find a story on page 20. And beside that, FG approves 3.5 trillion naira for roads, airports, others. Federal Executive Council, federal government approves 3.5 trillion naira for roads, airports, others. You find a story on page 2. Let's just see the airport. Okay, perhaps that should be for maybe rehabilitation of existing airports. Or should we be seeing new airports in Nigeria? Who knows? Maybe. Maybe, but I guess most likely it should be for rehabilitation of existing ones. Away from that, Nigeria, Ghana hold talks over anti-Nigerian protests. Nigeria, Ghana hold talks over anti-Nigerian protests. You find a story on page 7. Recall that recently there was a protest in Ghana where a lot of them were holding placards, chanting Nigerians must go, planning to repatriate Nigerians from Ghana. It sounds funny. That's why I'm almost laughing. It sounds funny to me that, Ghana is asking Nigerians to go. How did we get here in the first place? How did we get here? I said it, that some of us wouldn't even visit Ghana unless we are paid for it. No, I'm not talking about, free transportation, hotel and all that. No, just to visit, like appearance fee, just to appear in Ghana, you might have to pay me for that. Now they're asking Nigerians to go. That's on the lighter note anyway. I'm still on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. Nigeria needs new constitution, not amendments. Nigeria needs new constitution, not amendments. And that's coming from Ezekwesili. You find that story on page 3. Still talking about new constitution. The Patriots are working towards that. That's a group of concerned Nigerians, elder statesmen who have taken it upon themselves to give Nigeria a new constitution. Let's just hope that the authorities deem it fit to approve whatever it is they are doing and implement. Implementation is the key word right there. Below that, recovery ongoing in 1.3 trillion naira CBEX Ponzi collapse. Recovery ongoing in 1.3 trillion naira CBEX Ponzi collapse. You find that that's coming from the EFCC, and you find that story on page 7. Remember the infamous Ponzi scheme? CBEX, a lot of people, were victims, people crying everywhere on social media. And I think it was quite pronounced around here. The Southwest, places like Moshun, Ibadan, and some other places where
CBEX.
Exactly. CBEX was so popular. It's collapsed and a lot of people lost their funds. And EFCC is saying that they are currently recovering some of those funds as a result of the collapse of CBEX. Let's just hope that they get their funds back. But I'm afraid, do not raise your hopes. Those who lost their money, don't raise your hope. Don't get your hopes raised too high. You might not, in cases like this, you might not get your money back. And that's just the bitter truth I need to tell you. So next time, be careful before investing. Yes, we've all made mistakes at some point. I've also made mine. We laughed about it here the other day. So that's just it. Away from that, I'm still on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. Ondo, ADC vows to challenge Ayedatiwa's appeal court victory. ADC vows to challenge Ayedatiwa's appeal court victory. You'll find a story on page 29, which means they will be going to the Supreme Court. Because if the appeal court has, upheld Ayedatiwa's victory, then the next point of call should be the Supreme Court for the ADC. Away from that, how suspected ritualists dismembered my 16-year-old son. Ogun driver, how suspected ritualists dismembered my 16-year-old son. That's coming from an Ogun State driver right there. And you find a story on pages 4 and 5. Quite unfortunate, 16-year-old son dismembered by ritualists. Finally, from the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning, Oyo budget eats 984 billion naira after 299.8 billion naira supplementary bill. Oyo budget hits 984 billion naira after 299.8 billion naira supplementary bill. You'll find a story on page 29. And that'll be all from the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning.
All right. So much to talk about, especially governance, politics, and the state of this nation. That will be our focus this morning. And, some of the components of this conversation, we've had it in these major dailies as well. Fiscal recklessness, the state of the nation, politics, people prosperity, politicians resigning the membership of a party. The latest, maybe kind of high profile is Dino Melai. Many persons will be saying, will he be ADC and all of those things? You have it there. And so you might want to invite somebody, share it, let people know this is a conversation that you can afford to miss. Or we'll be live streaming. We are right now, actually, live streaming on YouTube and Facebook at Governance, Politics, and the State of the Nation. And our guest will be Dr. Sam Mamadi, Director, Abuja School of Social and Political Thought. Today, 1st of August, is Friday, and that conversation is next. Stay with us.